What do games mean to us? Does the game grow with you? Do you grow past the game? Does the meaning change as you age? The same scene hold the same message from all those years back. Despite everything, still you. A line of text that was meaningless to me as a kid. Now, become reality. I'm no longer that naive kid I used to be. I've experienced that life I longed for. Now, I long for that memory of a life once lived. Why does any of this even matter? Why do we analyze games? Why do we search for a meaning behind these experiences we play for leisure? Games are much more than their graphics and difficulty. Layers upon layers of ideas and inspiration, left underanalyzed compared to novels or poems. Why is it that we treat games differently from other media? Is it our ability to participate and socialize that influences how our experiences unfold? Just as a competitive FPS player wouldn't likely be interested in reading dialogue, players find enjoyment in different aspects of the game. Games like Undertale offer different post-structural playstyles that allow players to experience the traditional RPG feel, or a puzzle game as you try to solve how to pacify the enemies. Released in 2015, Undertale follows the story of a child who's fallen into the underground, a large area under the surface separated by a magical barrier. The player encounters various monsters on their journey back to the surface. The choice to kill or spare them have ramifications that affect the outcome of the playthrough. Inspired by Shin Megami Tensei, Toby Fox implemented repercussions to killing, as he believed, in every RPG, consequences for this are never addressed. The spare mechanic was meant to address this by letting the player interact with different monsters and selecting an option to soothe them instead of killing them. This intrigued many, as his Kickstarter campaign in 2013 raised $5,000. Working upon his experience using RPG Maker, developing Earthbound ROM hacks, and composing music for Homestuck, he started work on his first game, Undertale. He focused on programming, music, story, and some of the artwork. In the end, Fox chose to work in a small team. The unique battle system was created in response to the mindless nature of damaging, healing, and killing in many traditional RPGs like Final Fantasy. Drawing from the Mario & Luigi and Touhou series of games, he set out to create an engaging defensive battle phase, in which the player controls a heart and avoids objects flying at them, like in a bullet hell. Both series of games include an interactable segment in which the player can avoid attacks to reduce the damage they receive. One of the features that Fox found that caused boredom in many RPGs were their fetch quests. These required the player to go back to a location they've already explored, often to extend the length of playtime. While it is an option in Undertale, backtracking isn't mandatory. There's usually a new dialogue option given to different characters after major events in the story, where the player is given the opportunity to learn more about the underground and its inhabitants. The humor that is attached to these dialogue sequences are inspired by Mr. Bean and the wackiness of internet culture. Despite this, Undertale also has many unsettling moments that drew inspiration from Earthbound due to its ability to subvert tropes that go unquestioned in many other games. The music assists in this delivery of these sequences. OST number 83, Here We Are, is playing during your exploration in the Tree Lab, discovering the dark truth about the royal scientist, Alphys. It's unnerving and envelops the player in an uncomfortable atmosphere. Many of the songs in Undertale were inspired by other NES role-playing games, like Earthbound and other series such as Touhou. Many of these songs were created for Undertale. Arguably, his most popular song, Megalovania, was created for his Halloween Earthbound ROM hack that was later reworked in Undertale. Several of these songs carry a leitmotif. The melody in the song Undertale is used in the first song you hear in the game, called Once Upon a Time, and during the ending credits in the song Last Goodbye. Take a listen. Leitmotif is often used for nostalgia and to evoke an emotional response for the player, signifying the end of the player's journey. Like most people, your first introduction to Undertale was likely watching someone play, or overhearing someone talking about it. Experiencing the game through the lens of another player limits the medium and prevents the player from creating their own story. It becomes akin to that of a film or a documentary. While the streamer does provide their thoughts, The ideas are generally surface level and don't delve into the different aspects of the game. For people who've looked at reviews or articles that discuss the game, they often use cliches and borrowed terms provided by marketing. Many of these articles are fueled by economic pressure, influencing the review to be overtly positive. This affects the way people perceive the game and the perception of the paratext that surrounds it. The way you may experience the game may be dictated by these reviews, since they explored their own adventure within the game. Hearing about a certain ending may cause the player to perform certain actions just to meet that criteria. On the surface, Undertale appears to be similar to other RPGs like Earthbound, allowing you to flee from combat or fight. Most players on their first playthrough experience one of the neutral endings, not grasping the sparing mechanic at first or even at all. Unique to Undertale, the spare mechanic allows the player to bypass the need to kill a monster and hash things out. The requirements to spare certain enemies changes from fight to fight, as you are given the ability to act and perform an action outside of consuming an item and fighting. While you're given the action to check, similar to the Paper Mario RPG series in which the companions give you the option to see their health, damage, and flavor text, you must select the correct one or even the correct ones to progress through the fight to eventually spare your foe. Sparing all the monsters you encounter lead to the pacifist ending. While it is one of the more difficult endings to achieve, it illustrates how being friendly isn't necessarily easy. You make many friends along the way and get to know the individual characters better. In a similar vein, killing all the monsters will lead you to the genocide ending. As you kill more and more monsters in a single zone, they become more sparse, and you have to run back and forth in hopes that you encounter one. It becomes a tedious task of hunting down every last monster. It furthers the idea how life isn't infinite. Unlike RPGs like Final Fantasy, these enemies don't respawn. These characters you could have learned more about are no more than just a statistic in your conquest of power. It is revealed later that LV doesn't mean level. It represents your level of violence. To level up, you must receive EXP from killing monsters, EXP being execution points. To some, there's an incentive in having a higher level because it increases the amount of health you have. If you remain a pacifist, then you're left at the starting 20 hit points. Saving and loading is also a feature incorporated into the game world. It is based on who has the most determination at any given time. The antagonist, 𝘬𝘭𝘬𝘪𝘮, had the ability to load and save prior to the player falling into the underground. Since the player has more determination than 𝘬𝘬𝘬𝘭𝘬, he was no longer able to play God and had to settle with messing with the player to do his bidding. During these battles, you are faced with a variety of control schemes. This is determined by the color of your soul. By default, you are the red heart, which follows a similar control scheme to that of a bullet hell. The blue heart confines your control scheme to that of a platformer. The green heart fixes you in place and replaces your controls with a shield, and so on. Many of these are only introduced during boss fights, making each one feel unique, but not different enough to force the player into the anxiety state of flow. It is a gimmick adding upon an already established control scheme. Undertale was designed to utilize the medium as a storytelling device, avoiding the separation of story and gameplay. The reason we look for the meaning behind games is because there often is one. A story the developer wanted to tell and the story the player experienced. Undertale is aware of the values it incorporates and uses them as an expressive device. Games should be examined as thoroughly as text, but maintain the interactive factors that make it unique from other mediums. The reason we analyze games is so we can ultimately get to the point where we can appreciate games as cultural artifacts.